Give me a second. I must make sure everything is working fine here. Let's see. Okay. Apparently we are on air, so we can start. My name, of course, is Hightech. I am the creator of Hightech MemeCon here. You see the mint address of it. And on these live streams, of course, I talk about what just happened today in the cryptocurrency market. What I think about it regarding 11 years of my experience. And of course, somewhere in between the lines, I will be talking about what high tech is and why you might be interested in it. Okay, so let's switch the screen. This one I will turn off so I don't get any personal messages here. Maybe I will just lower this one slightly. And what a day, eh? What a day. Quite a lot has happened. A lot has happened, especially on on derivatives markets on the altcoin market. I was recording before today just for YouTube channel because I was unable to connect to Rumble Studio for some reason. Even now, I don't know why, but as you see here, Twitch has failed. Maybe because people are live streaming about what happened, in the crypto space today. I don't know. Nonetheless, as you see on Twitch, I'm not live streaming right now on Twitch. Hopefully, other platforms are receiving the signal. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, of course, ask me in the live chat. I should see it. I also have X on my phone because that's the one that is not served when it comes to live chat, of course, by Rumble Studio. So yeah. So as I was saying earlier today on my YouTube channel, seems like the reason is known. What has happened? Crypto saving expert was describing what could be potential cause, and it makes sense because what they were pointing out is that major exchanges, tier one exchanges, they have changed the rules of how they are treating collateral or what they are taking as collateral, meaning that some of holdings that you had before on your margin account, if you were using cross margin mode for leverage trading, then some of your portfolio was discounted as collateral, meaning that immediately your leverage increased and your liquidation point got much closer, right? Most of people, whenever they get a pop-up window with the change of trading rules, they usually do not read it. They think it's something minor, something insignificant, and that has consequences such as the ones we witnessed several hours ago, apparently. That's one of the reasons that I always discourage you from trading on futures market using leverage in any shape or form, because it's always subject to change of rules, change of how things are calculated, because different type of contracts use different types of calculations, and yeah, you're exposed to a huge liquidation risk, not only because of how high a grade of precision that kind of trading requires, but also because of random stuff like this. Some regulator will come in and will say, no, 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 you cannot do it like this, like you used to do it because blah blah blah, and then exchanges are forced to change of their policies, and if you don't pay attention, you fall victim to it, right? It's just like literally several hours ago. Yeah, we've seen the biggest liquidation event. I mean, at least this is what crypto media is telling us, and I don't have a really hard time believing that. They say it was the biggest liquidation event in the history of crypto, and well, many coins visited below 1%. I'm sorry, below not 1%, below 99%. Got reduced to 1% of what they were before all of this happened, right? I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure in what moment. I'll have to check it. In what exactly moment they introduced those changes? Because here I cannot grok it. Uh, was it scheduled for yesterday, or was it already in play prior to that event, to that huge market crash? And then it just got triggered, whenever market we saw a little bit of a pullback. I will have to look it up, to be honest, because I haven't done so. uh, Nonetheless, the result was as we all observed, and it was definitely spectacular, right? Here on Bitcoin, as you see, I had exit. I mean, I was showing it right on my live streams that I received exit. And Bitcoin approached 100K after that. I was not expecting it to go this low, to be honest. I also, just after this event, I went online. I was live streaming. Probably many of you, saw me, listened to me, and I said within the next 24, 48 hours, we will more or less know where this is going. Is it the end already, or maybe there is something still, more in the tank to be given. but but right now, to be honest, it's still a little bit unclear. Maybe we start to get some very light signs, very very let's say weak signs that we are about to go back where we were. Like, one of those signs, at least in my opinion, is that SPYX is recovering. Even though, I mean, because this is tokenized version of SPY stock, right? SPYX. Even though this market here, of course, it has a much lesser liquidity than the real SPY, which mirrors S&P 500. Recently, the rule was, I mean, recently, and here I mean like recent months, the rule was, if this one on the weekend was showing something like it was performing well, the SPY on whenever TradFi session started on Monday, it was also performing well, and S&P 500 was performing well, right? So following, that correlation, that lasting at least few months correlation, looks like what we've seen on TradFi on S&P 500 on Friday should at least partially be recovered on Monday. I mean, it's just Saturday. We still have whole Sunday for it to do its work, to do its magic. And yeah, we'll see. So far, so good, right? So far, it looks like, judging by this, the market sentiment is unique, right? It is not as harsh, as pessimistic as it was on Friday. And Bitcoin, as you see, it has recovered a little bit, but it's not very convincing the way it's behaving. The good part is that we haven't done lower low against candle bodies, as you see here. So this one is actually a high low, and hopefully it stays that way. Because if we take out this one, then highly likely we will attack 100K once again, most probably. How do I see it right now? Is that in this stage, in my opinion, it's 50-50 when I look at Bitcoin, but when I look at altcoins, it looks a little bit better here. It looks much better. And when I was live streaming, uh, right after it all occurred, so when we just had actually situation until here, as you see, I have drawn what potentially can happen, right? How market potentially more or less can start behaving, and I pointed out that either we follow this scenario, number one scenario, or this scenario, number two scenario, but both long term are bullish because of how market mechanics works. So in these circumstances, the only way is actually up. I know it sounds a little bit weird, after a crash, because it's very easy to acquire, let's say, a pessimistic mood, be skeptical, but market mechanics imposes completely opposite effect. At least short term, we'll see how it's going to play out long term. But short term, we're up for a very strong bounce. It doesn't have to be like immediate, as you see, it has not been immediate, but because all of the sellers got flushed right now, the capital went from weak hands to strong hands. Strong hands usually have long-term outlook on the market. Hence, there is no source of selling pressure to apply on whatever is about to happen. Hence, it means we will see at least one strong reaction rally that will, for 100%, go way higher than where we left it before the crash, right? So, of course, it will come as a surprise to majority of the people. Those that remember COVID crash, it won't be surprising at all, because that's literally what happened back then too. What played out. Most of the weak hands just left the market. They left those assets in hands of strong hands, and strong hands were not selling it big until a lot of interest came back into the market, and everyone was talking about how much this coin has risen, how much that coin has risen. So it's actually fairly simple when you look at it, from slightly further perspective. It's not that complicated. There's only a couple of things that can happen here, and that's it. The only trick that market can play on you is how long it transitions from one stage to another, and that can give you impression that there is much more to it. So here, I mean, it is possible that some of so-called weak hands and we're in position here, we're longing this, and right now they're in a very nice profit. And the longer this one here goes sideways, the more they start to doubt anything more will come out of it, and they will decide to dump it. So we'll see another attempt, another dip here, and that will be it. And then the slate is clean, right? After that, the slate is completely clean, and we are off to the races. Once anyone tries to buy it up, and we will not have to I will not have to wait long for it, right? Whatever buying pressure here will be causing huge rallies. So what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. This is one of the scenarios I was talking on my live streams that favorites me hugely, but I saw it as very, very highly unlikely because of what market structure was. So I was, as you may remember, I was pointing to the market following this parabolic uptrending line. But the other scenario I was giving, that we will break down here, we'll come down here, and we will mark this huge, enormous head and shoulders formation, and that could even give us a further inertia of further reduction of the altcoin market. If that was more organic, then probably it would play out that way, since it was completely artificial and actually in accidental in its nature. So now what I preach is that we will come back up to above this trend line, and we will have the rally that we're supposed to have, that we were gearing up for. And probably, I mean, maybe not this weekly candle, because we don't have much time left, but next weekly candle will be symmetrical to this one, inversely symmetrical, because this one is red. The one I'm thinking about is going to be green, literally in the same let's say value, but opposite direction as this one was. So yeah, let's see if I'm right, because fundamentally speaking, the crypto market is in a really good place. It makes zero sense, even geopolitically, it makes zero sense for us to stay like this. I have a very hard time believing this is going to be the end of this story, and we are just I don't know what have I marked here. Okay, whatever. Let me delete it. I have a very hard time believing this is the end of cycle. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. Right now there is a lot of voices, talking about a start of bear market. I've seen very large X profiles preaching this is the start, this is the beginning of bear market. It makes fundamentally it makes zero sense. And judging by my market structure, as of now, looking at Bitcoin, it makes zero sense. It makes more sense when you look at altcoins, but like I said, let's wait a couple of days to see if we recover these losses or not. So far, it looks like we are following the scenario one, which is this one here, right? Of course, not step by step, because this one I have drawn it in a very loose manner, like more or less what is going to be the tendency. I wasn't mean it's going to follow, like to a teeth. I mean, if anybody thought that, then like, be serious, be an adult, for God's sakes. But yeah, we are staying above 250, 245 billion dollars level. That's amazingly important, because this played a big role historically, and to maintain that level right now is very important. To have it, on our side as a support, not as a resistance. That's very important. And so far we have it, right. So far, it is playing on our side. It's playing in our team. So yeah, right now I have no reason to believe we are not going to recover those losses. And once we get back above this trending, this uptrending parabolic line, like I said, I once we get there, then that's a confirmation. In my eyes, that's a confirmation. Just strap in, right? Just strap in, because we are starting the rocket. One thing that is also very strongly supporting that outcome is the fact that we just flushed all of the tourists, all of the gamblers from the market, because even those that were trying to trade futures with the 1x, anybody who was in long with 1x leverage, they got flashed out, right? Because when you're sure to get flashed out with plus 100% move, is fairly fairly common, but to get flushed out on minus 99%, that's like, I don't know, at best every few years. If you trade many coins, many coins, at best once every few years. So that was definitely something very very unexpected by solid majority of market participants. But yeah, that's why even though it happens rarely, I tell you, avoid trading on futures market, because it will be everything. It may go very nice for quite a while, but then something like this will come and knock on your doorstep, right? And they will just take all of your chips and search the pockets and the house, and they take whatever is left, right? So here I'm speaking metaphorically, of course. If you haven't noticed, hopefully most of you understand what I mean here. But yeah. So now there is no incentive to be betting or to be playing, with futures market, with leverage market on the side. I mean, from the side of market makers, right? There won't be any money. They just took all of the money. Market makers, they just took all of the money, literally. There's nobody left trading futures. So now volumes on futures market, I expect them to be very very low, especially on weekends, because weekends will tell us how much. Weekends generally tell us how much retail is in here, uh, because most of volume on the week, during the weekdays, the working days, could come from institutional players. But on weekends, we know for sure that's pure retail, or like 99% retail, or if 99%, then I don't know, 90% retail, right? So that gives us the closest number how much retailers are in this game right now. How much of retailers are interested in this game right now? So I expect huge drops in volume levels on weekends now. We'll see. We'll see. Am I right or am I wrong? Let's try to refresh this one. I mean, not yet, because we still probably will have within the reach of last 24 hours here recent liquidation. So it's not going to be visible this weekend, but this Saturday, Sunday, but the next one. And if I'm right, if that's the case, then the only incentive for market makers now will remain in this spot market. Because why it was so difficult to trade the altcoin market so much, why it was so difficult recent, actually 2 years, mainly because stupid retailers, I cannot use any other word, right? Instead of trading spot, they were trading on futures market, where they have zero chance, where the futures market is the easiest to manipulate, and they were using high leverage. So market makers, instead of pumping spot, they're just robbing the gamblers, right? Because you know how gambling addiction is. You lose everything, then you borrow money, then you steal, and so on. So that was a constant delivery of liquidity to market makers. So now they lost everything. So it should all transfer over to transition into spot market. Spot market should experience now the volume that the futures market took from it for quite a while. And the only way that market makers can make money right now is by attracting those market participants that haven't been burned yet, or still have the money. And those are the ones that haven't come to this market yet. Those are the ones that don't even know what futures market is, right? So now we are talking about that category of retailers that if they buy, they in quote unquote invest, meaning that they buy spot. So all stars in the sky line up for this spot market to finally see a very nice time in the altcoin realm. I mean, up until today, it was good only for like handful of large caps, and that's it. All of the rest was suffering big. It's very difficult to trade it. If you try to trade it, then you know very well all that was possible is to play in defense. And now I believe I see enough of evidence for a shift in that area. And I don't see any other outcome possible here. I mean, to make justice, I didn't see it possible to for the market to draw a chart like we just have on the others. But this had 0% to do with natural market behavior. Absolutely zero. It was either accidental, but I don't really believe it was accidental. It was probably designed to have this outcome. It was strategized to do something like this, and those that were not caught up in it, those that still have dry powder, still can throw something on the spot market. At the spot market, I think are going to greatly benefit from it. But it's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be the day after tomorrow. I expect it to be playing out around the week before we get another additional confirmations that we do indeed continue with this coil up. We just flashed out all market participants that use leverage, or at least the vast majority of them. We just eliminated the incentive to focus, the incentive on market makers to focus on futures market. Now that we have that possibility of a shift into the transition into the spot market, thanks to it, and probably that is the plan. Probably that is the plan because remember, if you want to attract new people, new crowd, you must show performance. If there is no performance, nobody will be interested in coming here. And in order performance is growth, right? So this market must grow, must be able to show how much it was possible to make with it. If somebody were to join it, I don't know, a month, 2 months, 3 months ago, how much it was possible, how much money it was possible to make. So maybe, just maybe, also they just decided, like, collectively, the market makers, the big guys, they decided, you know what, it makes no sense to stay here and just suck up that small change from this tiny amount of retailers that keep gambling on futures market. Let's just grab them at once, squeeze them out from the last penny they still have, and then let's proceed with the big game, right? With the big game where we pump everything up into levels nobody ever believed possible. Everyone and their mother will start to throw their money on it. They deliver us exit liquidity, and then we dump on them. it is right now. I think that's the most likely scenario. Uh, what what has happened? What actually has happened in the big picture? So let me take a look if there's any live chats. What the hell has happened with Twitch? I mean, on Twitch I don't have you know a huge reach anyway, so it's not like I'm griefing a lot because of it. But yeah, I don't like when something doesn't work. But at least you can see me on Rumble X, YouTube, and Kick. So that will do. That will do the job. Okay, let's quickly uh, switch over to. I mean, how long have I been talking? 31 minutes. Okay, but this is a second live stream I'm doing today, so that's just fine. Okay, let's take a look. If I don't know, maybe something new has come up, some new info about what has happened. A trader wins $192 million in 2 hours. A new crypto account opened just 30 minutes before Trump's 100% China tariff announcement reportedly placed a multi-million-dollar leverage short on Bitcoin. Yeah, that's suspicious. That's very sus. Very sus. That is another thing that tells me that probably it was arranged. It was all planned. And let me remind you that also Conglass went offline 2 to 3 hours before this crash, and I'm sure Conglass and their APIs are widely used because Conglass is a really big big service provider. Let me even ask Rock. I used our API Conglass APIs, the crypto space, service providers, and traders. Let's see. Let's see what Grok tells us. But probably they are quite popular, I'm guessing. So since they went offline for good couple of hours, it is possible that many trading systems suffered a paralysis. Congruence is a leading platform for cryptocurrency derivatives data, you see, offering real-time insight into liquidations, open interest, funding rates, and more across major exchanges. This API aggregates this data, making it accessible for programmatic use, while exact user number aren't publicly disclosed. Evidence from developer tools, community discussions, and real-time market commentary indicates moderate to high adoption among individual traders and niche service providers in the crypto space. Is particularly valued for its focus on perpetual futures and options metrics, which are critical during volatile periods, you see. So yeah, that confirms what I'm talking about. Okay, let's take a look at liquidation heat map. I wonder how this one, what's the shape of this one now? No data? For real? Okay, so it's not fully recovered. Okay, that's interesting. So it has not fully recovered. Okay. Now there's 1 week. Yeah, you see, majority of liquidity inside here is above all-time highs. So on my side, there will be zero surprise if we, in very firm steps, go for a new all-time high within the next 2 weeks. So interesting because statistically, second part of October is very bullish one. So looks like right now we have a perfect makeup for for this second part of October to be immensely bullish too. This is almost funny. Okay, guys, allow me to wrap it up because, like I said, this is the second live stream I'm doing on this channel today. Share, like, and subscribe if you haven't done so, and don't forget to get a little bit of allocation into my meme coin. This way, you become indirectly invested in whatever I do in social media, in my popularity here. I think this is a very interesting proposition. If we look at it from that side, and yeah, but just make sure you don't overinvest. Throw something small at it so you don't stress with it because of it. Because of course this is a very early stage of this market, so it's still greatly volatile. So yeah. So thank you guys for your time, and I see you sometime soon. Cheers.